Today I'm going to have a little bit of a play with some alcohol inks. The incredibly vibrant colours that you can get with some of his things, and I don't know whether you can see there, but they're set up with this matte surface which I absolutely adore. Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to have a little bit of a play with some alcohol inks. Okay, hiya. So today I'm playing with some alcohol inks. I watched a video a couple of days ago from Tim Holtz, who's about to launch some more alcohol ink products, and I'll leave a link in the description below to that video, and that's all really very exciting. And that gave me the inspiration to get going and have a go at some alcohol inking again. Now, one of the things that I have been playing around with is just trying to get a different surface. Now, I've made all sorts of bright backgrounds, which I adore, on the gloss paper, okay, on the Ranger gloss paper, and they are beautiful, but I actually struggle with these a little bit as to how to use them, because I don't really like the shine for cards, and I like making cards. So what I've done is I've been experimenting a bit, and I've actually, by using the Yupo paper, I've come up with a couple of different techniques, and I've ended up with these amazing backgrounds which are done on Yupo, and they don't have that shine of the gloss paper, which I really like. Now, I did actually use gloss paper, Yupo paper initially, and by flooding it with colour, you get the very vibrant colour, and you get you know, this like semi-gloss, which I'm still not really enamoured of. I mean, I love the colours, but I didn't like the gloss. But what I've worked out by accident, really, because I started by trying, these were actually made by using my Yupo paper as a palette. I was putting ink down and then putting my gloss on to soak up, you can see it sort of soaked around the edge, soak up the excess ink, and then I was left with this more subtle look, which once I wiped it off looked a lot better. So I'm going to show you the process that I'm now using, because now I'm not even using the gloss, I'm actually just using two pieces of Yupo, and I'm using one as a palette and sliding the other across. Now, I've been using brights, but what I wanted to do this time was actually explore using some more muted colours. So I'm actually going to start, this one is Lemonade. I'm going to use some Peach Bellini, and I'm going to use some Latte. I just wanted to see if I could get a different look, so I'm just squishing this on. I'm not too fussed about where and how. Then I'm getting my other piece of Yupo, I'm placing it on top, giving it a press down, and then I am just swooshing it to see what I get. Oh, pretty, 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 pretty. Okay, I don't mind that. Don't mind that. It's interesting, there is actually a green tinge in here, and I like it. So I am going to take a bit of lettuce, put a bit more lettuce on. I'm going to put a bit of butterscotch. I'm going to deepen the sort of yellowy colour, because what I've noticed is it's really about staining the Yupo more than using the alcohol ink as, oh, that's interesting, using the alcohol ink as the full coverage. Now that's, you know, quite spectacular. I'm going to let that run, drip and run a bit. Sorry if it goes off camera, but I'm sort of trying to get the angles and get it dripping at the same time. I'm just going to let that run a bit. Now, what I find is you sort of got to let it dry to a certain extent. I mean, look at that one. That one is glorious. I love it. That one's glorious. I'm sort of letting them dry a little bit. Okay, and these still, you can see, have the sheen to them. All right. And that's what I personally don't like. If you like it, then that's all you have to do. All right, and by using the 2 pieces of Yupo, rather, Tim was putting his ink on his mat. He was inking up his pages, you know, swiping them through a bit like that, and then he was using hand sanitizer and a cloth to wipe up his mat. And it's just one of those things. All I could see was, you know, all that ink going to waste. And to a certain extent, we are going to have the same thing, but it's not going to be quite as dramatic. I'm going to start with this one because I don't like it as much. And I'm going to see, it should be dry enough, or a little bit dry now. Because what I'm doing is I'm trying to take that sheen off, but I'm going to get down to the stained paper. Now, this is plastic paper, and if I kept going, I would probably end up, if I got sort of alcohol ink on there and, you know, got it to the point where it was right back to the plastic, there would be hardly any stain. But just by wiping, now I don't know whether you can see that is no longer shiny because I've taken that top layer of ink, and what I've been left with is the stain. Okay, so I'm going to leave this one for the moment. I'm going to see where that one goes. So I'm just going to keep that drying, but I'm going to add another layer to this one now. Okay, so what I might do is I might go a deeper orange. I might try some of the Mountain Rose on here, because what I want to do is I want to get some depth into the staining. Okay, so now I'm going to have some of that, and at the risk of losing that one, I might actually see if I can, yeah, I'm actually going to take this one, which is an absolute disaster. All right, so I don't care about this one anymore, and I'm going to put that one. This is gloss paper, but it will help take up some of my ink, and I really don't care. Actually, that's made that a lot better. I'm going to pull up a bit of that extra ink on that. That dries really quickly, that ink, but actually that's not too bad now. It's a bit different. It's a bit different. And now I've got some more stain on here. So they are such pretty colours. They are such pretty colours. So what I might do is I might put some more butterscotch. I love this Mountain Rose. I'm just going to see if I can put a bit more of the butterscotch in places, so it looks a bit more interesting. I've got another one of these funny ones, so I might use that to pick it up. Pick up all these bits. Because I like a bit of texture being added. And I don't mind the swipes, because what I notice is the swipes, even that's better than it was. Alright. The swipes leave little marks, alright? But it looks interesting, but it looks a bit dirty. So what I do now is I grab a little bit of hand sanitizer. When I think I've got enough of what I want, I take my hand sanitizer and I wipe off, and it'll wipe off all of the extraneous little ridges of colour, and it'll bring it back to just a really nice flat colour, just stained colour, and it is so subtle. I mean, this is gorgeous. I wish you could see it in real life, but it's got a lot of layers. It's got a lot of a lot of depth to it, even though it's incredibly light. It is just stunning to look at. I just adore it. I just adore it. Okay, now while I was doing that, okay, I knew this technique would work, but now I've just thought of one more thing. I want to actually see, that one's actually not too bad either, that one. I'm actually going to see what will happen if I hand sanitize this one. No idea, might ruin it, and if it does, that's okay. But this is the gloss paper. Ooh. Doesn't seem to be taking off anything. Isn't it funny, because this is the porous one, which I suppose that actually makes sense, because that's probably not. So I've cleaned it, but no, it hasn't taken any of the colour off. Alright, this is my other Yupo one, so I'm going to try this one. You can see this has got just a sheen on it. Oh, I like it as it is though. I don't know whether to do this one. No, I'm going to hand sanitize it, because I want to bring it back and see what it looks like once it's got down to, you can see it's taking off a whole layer, but the markings underneath should still be there in a different sort of bit sticky. Try again. You have to have plenty of hand towels, plenty. And you end up with this magnificent pastel shaded matte finish card that is just perfect for backgrounds. Just perfect. Again, I don't know whether you can see the subtlety of that, but it is so pretty. And it's beautiful and matte, easy to touch, and I just adore them. See, that's one layer. I don't know whether you can see the difference. And then this is a second layer. So the more layers you use, the more interesting it gets. Okay, here's a couple of layers with blues and purples. You see that gets quite in depth. Here's a few with some pinks and oranges and greens that I've just allowed to build up. And this is the one that I've done and turned into a card just by doodling on top of it. So I love them. Give it a go if that's your thing. See what you think. And of course, if you do it with gloss card as well, you can be left with all of these gloss ones that you can use for card bases and other things as well. Now that's another, these are all non-glossy, and then these are all glossy. So you can do it with taking a gloss print from Yupo, or you can do it Yupo to Yupo. I'm sure you could probably do it gloss to gloss as well, although it sinks into the gloss really quickly, so that might be interesting. If anybody's got any great ideas of what to do with the gloss ones, what they like to do with them, that might give me some inspiration as to how to use them, because then just that gloss is not really my thing on cards, which is why I do these bases. These ones I think are perfect for, you know, the base of a card. As you can see, I put a put some stamping background on that, and then that'll be way to go. I adore that one. It just looks like I've got to have a mermaid on this. I've got to find a mermaid somewhere. I'm sure I can. This looks like a floral garden. Okay, so whatever I end up doing with these, I'll try and put some photos at the end and show you all sorts of things.